Standard Definition, the retro nostalgia podcast here on the Boss Rush Network, where each and every Monday we come together with our friends from around the internet to talk about games, movies, shows, and other topics that make us nostalgic. I'm your host, Stephanie, for the classic animated Disney branch of Standard Definition. We all know that we can't have that nostalgia podcast without recording episodes covering Disney. We will be reviewing them in release order, starting from Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, all the way to The Princess and the Frog in 2009. I'm joined by my awesome co-hosts, Corey Dierich and Mark Pereira. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Just seemed like minutes before I talked to you guys.
Nope, it's been a whole month.
It's been ages. Yeah.
Ish.
I'm excited about this episode. Today we're talking about 101 Dalmatians. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah. Yeah. 101 of them. Them little white spotted dogs.
And another timeless villain. But before we do that, I got some housekeeping items. Do you like what you hear? You could support us and get the show 2 weeks early by heading over to our Patreon, patreon.com/bossrushnetwork, or subscribe to free feeds. We love you regardless. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. We genuinely appreciate it because it helps with discoverability. If you like us, tell a friend, Anyway, you can also catch all of our content on YouTube and on bossrush.net. Speaking of bossrush.net, we also have a link to our merch store where you can get amazing shirts, stickers, all this other awesome stuff like a mouse pad, whatever you need for the office, with our logos of various shows, including Standard Definition. There's a really nice Disney one, which has like the Disney, font, I guess, if you want to call it that. So that's kind of it, other than giving our Patreon producers a shout out, Corey, if you could do me the honor.
Yeah, I can do that. If you, like Stephanie said, if you want to support us on Patreon, go to patreon.com/bossrushnetwork. For $1, you get early access to 4 separate shows, just like this one. But if you subscribe at the $5 tier, you become a Patreon producer. What does that mean? It means you get early access plus your name shouted out during this segment of this podcast, as well as others across the Boss Rush Network. So, without further ado, our Patreon producers for this episode are Adriel Munger, Celeste Roberts, my wife, Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. I want to thank all of our Patreon producers. I want to thank all of our patrons, and I want to thank all of our free listeners. If you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, a quick reminder to leave us a 5-star rating and a nice review. It really helps the discoverability, really helps people find the show, and we would really like people to find the show. So please check it out. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Tell everyone in between. Mm-hmm. Tell your mom.
Yeah, at least, most of the standard def stuff is parent friendly and kid friendly, right?
I would say most of it is.
Well, the Disney one, it's good, clean fun, right, guys?
Good, clean fun.
That's right.
Anyway, all right, let's get started. Let's not wait any more. What is 101 Dalmatians? Does anyone want to give a crack at a 1-sentence summary of it?
I thought you were going to say, does anybody give a crap about 100?
Well, a crazy fur-wearing lady gives a crap about skinning hundreds of little puppies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Call PETA.
Yeah, call PETA. Crazy design lady finds new design and needs to skin puppies for design. Crashes car. Falls in poop. I think that's a live action one.
Is that canon? Oh, that is the live action one. You're right.
Dr. House and Mr. Weasley are her minions.
That's right. I don't have a better description than those two. I think those are aces.
Oh, we got Mark's stamp of approval. Perfect.
Ooh, we're improving. It only took us 11.
episodes.
You guys, you made it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But really,
Where are
what
we?
is
What is Mark's minion's name, by the way? Is it Perarian? Are we Perarians?
Perarians?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
Perarians.
I'm a proud Perarian. There you go.
Yeah.
Hey,
We're gonna make shirts. Proud Perarian.
ooh, can you make them in child sizes too, so I can give them to my kids?
Yeah.
Yes, Corey's gonna be up all night designing that now.
You're right. I am. It's gonna be fun. Do you want it in Disney font or do you want it in some sort of like fun, weird font?
Fun, weird font.
Okay.
I mean, no. Go to sleep is what I want. But also, yeah.
All right.
All right. So while Corey's working on that logo, what really is 101 Dalmatians? When a litter of Dalmatian puppies are abducted by the minions of Cruella de Vil, the owners must find them before she uses them for a diabolical fashion statement.
Ooh.
Pretty much exactly what we've been saying, but that's just I think it's IMDb. Anyway, 101 Dalmatians was released January 25th in 1961. We're now in the 60s era of Disney films. Runtime is 79 minutes. The budget, 3.6 million. And I kind of touched upon this on our last episode with Sleeping Beauty. The budget for Sleeping Beauty was 6 million. All right. And Sleeping Beauty initial box off or Sleeping Beauty's box office for US and Canada was 51.6 million. Well, 101 Dalmatians was 303 million. So
Wow.
I just wanted to point that out. Even though Sleeping Beauty is a highly rated and valued movie, it just was not a financial success. So I wanted to highlight those numbers. And even more fun facts, if we want to adjust for inflation and incorporating subsequent releases, the 101 Dalmatian film has a lifetime gross of $900.3 million.
That's insane.
Right? And then Rotten Tomatoes, 98% based on 52 reviews and an average score of 8.2 out of 10. Safe to say this is a pretty successful movie all around. There was, as Mark and Corey alluded to, there was a live action remake in 1996, famously starring Glenn Close. I thought it was a wonderful Disney adaptation. Still to this day, really high up there compared to the other ones.
Agreed.
See, I believe there was a sequel to the live action one, 102 Dalmatians, which I did not see. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it's more of the same, but it's you can't beat Glenn Close just having a ball being a villain. So I think it's. I mean, it's not as good as the first one, but it's in the same vein for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't there also a recent movie where they just did on Cruella?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So Cruella came out, I think, in 2020, maybe 2021. Emma Stone was Cruella. It was kind of a prequel. It's not related to the other live action ones, but it's kind of the birth of Cruella. And just, I think 101 Dalmatians is the property, like the golden property at Disney. 101 Dalmatians with Glenn Close is really, really good and ranks as one of the top, in my opinion, Disney live action adaptations. And Cruella might be in the top 3 for me. I just saw it for this rewatch, and it's so good. It's really, really good. If I can just digress for a minute onto this movie, like they hired actual fashion designers to style the movie, and because Cruella is a fashion designer in this movie as well. And the fashion is incredible. The acting is really good. Just the music, the soundtrack. It's in the 1970s in London, so it's like a really, really good movie. I really enjoyed it.
Nice. Well, I think it's important to talk about that because we did talk about the movie Maleficent when we talked about Sleeping Beauty and how they kind of created a different kind of backstory for how Maleficent became to be, and she is an iconic villain. So in Cruella, what was kind of her backstory, how she came to be?
It's funny, they made fun of it a lot when this came out, but basically her mom is killed by Dalmatians is the really, really simplified version of it. That's really not
Like, was she
really what
eaten?
happens. But
Like, what she like?
no, she falls off a cliff because some Dalmatians are chasing her. There's a lot more to it than that, but that gets into spoiler territory. But that's kind of, it was made fun of a lot because of that. But what I really liked about Cruella was that they did for Maleficent. They tried to, like, this trend these days to kind of humanize and to sympathize villains.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't, so they did a little bit with Cruella, but like the whole point of the movie, the character of Cruella was really a character named Estella, and she always, as a young kid, battled this other kind of personality. Not that she had multiple personalities, but like when she was bad, her mom would call her Cruella, and so the movie is about her embracing her Cruella side, and kind of, it's a little bit of like a superhero origin movie, but she's not a superhero; she's a villain. Anyway, they do some things to try to to contextualize the choices that she makes, but the end of the movie is like very much she's deciding to be this bad guy, and she wants, like, they're not redeeming the character really. So I thought that was a really nice, a nice take these days when the current trend is just to really try to humanize and sympathize all these villains. So I highly, highly, highly recommend Cruella, and for that case, 101 and 102 Dalmatians. I do not recommend 101 Dalmatians Patch's London Adventure.
Why not?
Yeah, that was the Disney animated sequel. Yeah.
Right.
Gross.
Unfortunately, but it's okay. We just direct to DVD or whatever you want to call it.
Are we gonna do a spin-off show of this, of just the direct to DVD sequels?
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. You know what I would love is, because they canceled all of those. Like, there was a time when they were just pumping those out. Like, everything got a sequel.
And then Disney Channel had all the animated shows. Like, they had like an Emperor's New Groove prequel that was in
Emperor's
school.
New School, right? And which was actually really good.
Yeah, I guess that was a bad example, but like Timon and Pumbaa had their own show. Aladdin had his own show. Like, they all had their own shows. It's like, stop.
Which, like, I would love an alternate universe where that continued, and so we're getting like Ratatouille, and like, you know, WALL-E 2, and, you know, The Good Dinosaur, the prequel, and like I just would like all this trash Disney. There's just something.
I mean, they are kind of doing that with Disney Plus, though, right? With like Monsters at Work and.
But those have all been really good.
Yeah.
There's significant. They are expanding, like they are following that path, but they're putting a lot of money and work into it.
Yeah. That Cars one's coming out soon.
Right, but like the Cars one has Owen Wilson and Larry the Cable Guy, and it's the same. Well, except for John Lasseter, but it's the same like creative team, and so they're putting some care into it. It's not just bastardizing it like, you know, Hunchback of Notre Dame 2, right?
Yeah, my gosh, so painful.
How do you take, in my opinion, the best Disney film, Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Whoa, that's a hot take.
Oh, it's a
great movie.
I haven't seen that movie in probably 20 years.
I can't wait. I mean, sorry, this is about 101 Dalmatians, but I was raised Catholic, and I'm not Catholic anymore, but like I love Catholicism, and just that movie is just the pinnacle of Disney for me.
The music gives me goosebumps. Anyway.
Music, visuals, characters, story, everything. I love it. Anyway, how do you take the best Disney movie and then make the worst Disney sequel? It's like, what were they smoking then? Anyway, 101 Dalmatians is a great movie.
Amen. Pulled some fun facts. So, how did this come to be? Someone named Dodie Smith wrote a book called The 101 Dalmatians in 1956, and Walt Disney read it, loved it, and in typical Disney fashion, obtained the rights. Although it was revealed that Dodie had always secretly hoped that Disney would make it into a film, so win-win. So congratulations to them. But remember how I talked about the different of financials with Sleeping Beauty? So after Sleeping Beauty disappointed at the box office, there was some talk about closing down the animation department at Disney Studio. During the production of 101 Dalmatians, Disney had told an animator, Eric Larson, quote, "I don't think we can continue. It's too expensive." Despite this, Disney still had deep feelings towards animation because he had built the company upon it. And Disney would use, no, I think that's pretty much it for that. I didn't separate my fun facts here. I apologize. I wanted to pause and
Oh, fun facts.
sorry. What your thoughts were on that? I mean, I'm sure Disney overcame lots of challenges, but can you imagine if Disney had given up the animation department this early on in the game?
Oh my gosh, what we'd have like theme parks, but like they would never evolve. It would just be like big train sets and boat rides.
Yeah, so much of who I am as a person is, and I think who a lot of people are, especially people around our age,
Mm-hmm.
it is so defined by Disney. Like my sense of humor, my taste in music, my sense of right and wrong, my everything is defined in Disney. And so one, it's so crazy to think that Disney even exists in the first place. Like the fact that he made a not live action, a full length animated film with Snow White in 39 or whatever that was, right? Which sounds like a joke year. It was so long ago. And then the fact that it almost shut down multiple times and that they did propaganda films for World War II. Like everything about Disney should not work. And the fact that it does work and has lasted as long as it did, like the whole thing is just insane.
Yeah. And like
Oh yeah.
the fact that like even these characters in these movies that are so old are still like relevant. I mean, you know, in a sense to talk about or watch, right? Like we watch these movies with my kids still, like these movies that we've been talking about the last couple months, right? Like
Multi-generational.
yeah, it's crazy. The only other movies that I can really think about outside of Disney that stand this test of time would be something like The Wizard of Oz, and I don't know. I you would have to almost go into like the 80s almost to like really hit another cultural touchstone of like,
Yeah.
action hero movie guy thing. But they're not.
Like
I mean,
Star Wars.
Star
like, that
Wars.
hasn't. Star Wars is in the 70s. Like
Yeah.
that's a
Yep.
Star Wars is a contemporary to now, not a contemporary to when Snow White was made. And
Yeah.
so it's just it's crazy when you really think about that. Like it's pretty insane.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. All right, what I was gonna keep talking about was the art direction, and I had to reread it a couple times. So sorry if it sounds mechanical when I talk about it. I'm still learning about different forms of art direction, but for 101 Dalmatians, Disney would first use. Oh no, it wasn't. It was for Sleeping Beauty. I apologize. Disney would first use the Xerox process for the thorn forest in Sleeping Beauty. And the first production to make its full use was Goliath 2, which we're not talking about. For 101 Dalmatians, one of the benefits of the process was that it was a great help towards animated the spotted dogs. According to Chuck Jones, Disney was able to complete this film for about half of what it would have cost to animate all the dogs and Spots. So I think that really helped out with the tight budget perhaps that they had and the financial situation Disney was in. So I think, I'll stop there before we do trivia. I don't know if you have any comment on the art direction for 101 Dalmatians.
I do not like the art direction of 101 Dalmatians.
No.
So it's not the dogs or the characters or anything. It's the backgrounds, and I don't like this monochromatic, like half drawn, half it's not colored correctly. Like you go into the rooms and the pictures are just like oh, you see the nice drawing of like a picture hanging on the wall, and then it just looks like somebody went with a paintbrush and just went, psh, oh, there you go, splash of color to show there's something there. I don't like it. It bothers me so much.
I mean, I'm okay with it because it was a collective theme throughout the entire movie. Like, if someone fully embraces it, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's not like it's a bad art style, and I think they do this in a couple other movies coming up. I think the Aristocats stands out as a movie that does this somewhat, especially in the jazz scene. But like, and when they're outside too, like it doesn't bother me that much, you know, because like snow and trees and whatever, it doesn't bother me. It's when they're inside, like the scene where they're trying to save the dogs and when they're in the house and the fire is burning, and they're, you know, Horace and Jasper are like trying to fight off the dogs, and it just, the reds, they just clash, and there's curtains. You see the curtains hanging on the wall, but like there's like 4 different colors merging into it, and it's not like shaded correctly, or, you know, some of the color sticks out of it. It really bothers me. And I know it's a art direction that they chose to stick with, and that's fine. But like, and I know that I am probably on the other end of the spectrum for this too. Like, it's a very stylized art direction that they chose, and they stuck with it. And I don't like it.
Okay. Any comments from you? Mark's kind of like holding it in.
Should I go like
this? No. I just, there's so much character to this film. And I will agree, this movie is very dirty. There's a lot of noise in the background, and there's a lot of unfinished thought in the background, right? But I think it brings so much character. I think it really brings dirty London to life.
Yeah.
I think it really allows the main characters to stand out. And so I love everything about this movie. I think this might be one of my top favorite Disney films. I think it's so, everything from the opening credits, which remind me a lot of the opening credits of Monsters Inc., like from the jazz music to how it's animated to, I think it's, while I'll agree it is messy and imperfect, but it's messy and imperfect how jazz is messy and imperfect. And so I think that really works for what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I like it's not, like I said, it's not the characters or the way the animals or the characters are drawn or anything. I actually like that and you're gonna see this theme throughout the 60s and early 70s, right? With like Jungle Book and Aristocats and Robin Hood, like they all have that kind of dirty character art style that I actually really like, because I am a big fan of like pencil drawings and that kind of thing. It's just the background assets that they have are just not, you know, I don't know. I don't like the backgrounds, but the characters are fun. Like, I like that dirty character design.
I don't disagree with you. I just really love this movie, so it doesn't bother me as much as it sounds like it bothers you.
No, I don't think the movie's bad either. It's really just the art, background art that bothers me. But the movie's actually like really fun and kind of silly and over the top. Like, Cruella's so over the top, and Horace and Jasper are idiots, you know. It's fun.
Oh, Horace and Jasper are my 2 favorite idiots. But before we get to talking about characters, it's trivia time.
Trivia!
What TV I also feel like this is kind of a softball. I don't know what's wrong with me. I got to step up my game here. What TV show do the puppies watch with their parents? A, The Adventures of Underdog. B, Rex, Dog Ranger of the North Woods. C, Thunderbolt Adventure Hour. Or D, Flash the Wonder Dog.
I don't know. I only know the commercial, the Canine Crunchies commercial.
Canine Crunchies!
I love that. Wow, really, guys?
I
thought this would be...
I know the answer, but I feel like that's annoying because I feel like I say that. Anyway, it's Thunderbolt Adventure Hour, right?
Corey, do you want to take a guess before I?
You know, I'm going to piggyback off Mark and say it's Thunderbolt Adventure Hour.
Oh, that's so cheap, Corey. Because ding, 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 you're right, Mark. It's Thunderbolt.
I don't remember that at all, but I remember the announcer, like the very like 40s 50s radio announcer guy saying like the word hour.
Yeah. Right. Yes.
Yeah. But I don't remember any of the other things. I literally just stole that answer from Mark, but I do remember the like really old-timey radio voice saying the word hour. Radio hour, you know, like
right.
But I have to agree, Canine Crunchies was more memorable.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, the way Canine Crunchies. Right.
Just reminds me of, kids when they're watching something and memorize, you try to get them to bed and they don't want to. But anyway, that was trivia. And look at that. We're already, I don't know how, down to review of our characters. Starting at the top, I want to save the fun ones for the middle. But first, Roger and Anita. They are the human pets. I just want to preface that I love how the movie opens up where the dogs are referencing their owners as pets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fun.
Roger was at the start of the movie a bachelor, kind of in his own world, as most bachelors are. And Pongo, his dog, was searching out a mate for him. And he meets Anita, which... Can I just ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Anita was the former colleagues with Cruella.
Yeah. Cruella went back to get some credit. She didn't finish.
I was like, oh, okay.
Cruella's much older than Anita.
Right?
For sure.
It's all those long cigarettes she's smoking.
Smoking kills.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Do you want to look like Anita or Cruella?
But Cruella smokes and Anita didn't. That's good. I like that. Corey.
I mean, overall, I don't have too much to say. I do like how Roger kind of antagonizes Anita when Cruella is there, but that's kind of it,
Yeah.
I love their interactions together. I love how just silly Roger is in a way that I feel like, I'm kind of silly, like not. It's like, he's kind of, picking at her while she's on the phone with Cruella, and Cruella's there and he's writing a song about Cruella, and he's just kind of just poking the bear the entire time. And so I like his character a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They are nice, iconic ideals, or even, may I dare say, like married couple.
Yeah.
They seem very good for each other. I don't know how Anita was okay with a Dalmatian plantation at the end, but bless their hearts. I mean,
it's her idea.
In an ideal world, it would be cool.
No.
Right?
No, not cool.
Speaking of 101 Dalmatians and a Dalmatian plantation, did y'all ever collect the 101 Dalmatian Happy Meal toys?
Yep.
Yes.
Those and the Teeny Beanie Babies were like the pinnacle of McDonald's Happy Meal
I
toys.
still have.
We had 101 individually designed toys.
We have most of them at my parents' house. Like, oh my gosh, we ate at McDonald's for like a whole summer. It was gross.
Yeah.
That's probably why I don't eat McDonald's now. But
yeah, I agree with that. We would go from McDonald's. It was those. It was the Teeny Beanie Babies, and then the just the Disney ones that came in the clamshell.
Yeah. The VHS boxes, but they were small.
Yes, and then you open it up, and it's like there's Hercules, right?
Yeah, we have all those too.
We would just go from McDonald's to McDonald's through the drive-thru, and they'd say, "Do you have, Mulan?"
Yeah.
And they'd say no, and we'd go to the next one.
My parents just started going and being like, "We will pay for the Happy Meal, but we don't want the food. Just give us the toy."
which is interesting because I have so many distinct memories of doing that as a kid. And then earlier this year, McDonald's had Mario Kart toys, and so I took my kids to McDonald's and got to experience that as a parent. And we went from McDonald's to try to find all 8 of the Mario Kart cars.
Oh wow!
Which
no
I
way.
eventually found and then kept for myself. But anyway, it's interesting how that kind of works.
Yeah. Oh man,
Oh my gosh.
Side tangent. I just got back from my vacation last week, and I ate at McDonald's for the first time in like, I have no idea, probably like 20 years. Like besides breakfast, McDonald's breakfast doesn't count, but like burger, fries, McDonald's, and it'll probably be another 20 years before I eat it again.
McDonald's is not that bad. I say this as someone who should probably stop eating things like McDonald's, but it's not that bad.
That's so nice. Like I need to, be in touch with like what McDonald's is giving away, because not that I want to introduce
Thor right now.
Oh.
Whatever. And they're not great. The Thor ones. The Mario Kart ones are pretty awesome.
Didn't they do something for a while with like Pokemon?
They did it. Sure. They've done it a few times, I think.
Oh yeah, like probably back in our day, but probably more recently too. All right. Man, those are some memories.
Remember when Burger King had the Xbox games?
They had Xbox games?
Yeah, it was Sneaking. It was Big Bumpin', and it was Pocket Bike Racers, and they were all Burger King characters. Oh my gosh, Sneaking was the worst.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, they were
platform promotions.
Yeah, they were $5 a piece, but you had to order a combo meal or something to get them. And the girl I was dating at the time, like, she bought me an Xbox 360, Gears of War, and then the 3 Burger King games.
Oh my gosh!
And then now she's your wife.
Nope. 2 months later, we broke up.
I was like, she's an ex for a reason.
Oh man. Yeah. That's a story for After Dark, which you can also get 2 weeks early on Patreon.
Oh boy, I'll have to bring that up. All right. The other side of that couple, Pongo and Perdita, the 2 adult Dalmatian dogs who had, goodness, I'm trying to remember the exact number of puppies they had. Was it
15?
15? Yeah.
14.
15 puppies.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
We lost one.
We lost one. And then
Yep.
Yeah. We'll call him Lucky.
Yeah.
I was wondering what Roger was doing. I'm like, is he just warming him up? What's happening? But it was so cute. So cute.
Good times.
I love Pongo and Perdita. They're, I don't know, like what I don't know, actually we're not sure what else to add. They're just, parents that will do anything to, find their kids, and I don't know.
I actually think the most interesting characters are not the Dalmatians in this movie.
Yeah,
like, like
there's
the other
some
dogs.
Standout ones like Lucky, and who's the chubby one?
Oh, Rolly.
Yeah, Rolly.
Yep. I'm hungry, Mama.
Right. There's some cute ones, but definitely the ones that stand out are not Dalmatians whatsoever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In particular, my favorite characters are just Horace and Jasper. The nanny, she's saucy.
Yeah. You got cotton in your ears?
And she tried to, she didn't really want to let them in. They kind of bullied themselves in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Horace and Jasper. You got the wise guy. He thinks he's smarter than everyone. And then the other one's, kind of dumb, but he said, he tries to say the common sense stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, Horace and Jasper are definitely kind of like maybe the best characters in the movie, in terms of likability, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
just because, like, I don't know. I feel like in this era of movies, whether it's animated or not, the minions of the main villain are always like the best ones. Like, you think of Peter Pan, Mr. Smee is like
Right.
the best villain technically. So I don't know. Horse and Jasper are just so fun, and they like just. I don't. They're funny. They're just funny when they fall down or they kind of get pushed out of the way, or they get pushed
Who was
down,
the
or
short pudgy one? Was that Horace?
Horace is the
Horace,
short one.
right.
Jasper's
Yeah.
the tall one.
I like how Horace, in a line, he goes, I've been thinking. And Jasper's like, who does he says, we're not getting paid to think or something like
Right.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Just love it.
It's, I mean, their purpose is to make Cruella DeVille not so evil and just seem a little bit bumbling, right? If you've got a woman who's evil and just killing puppies, and there's no, like, she's not dealing with bumbling sidekicks or whatever, like, that's just like straight up hardcore, right? So you've got these two like kind of doofus characters who are super endearing to kind of contextualize, like, well, Cruella DeVille can't be all that smart because she's got these two lackeys who are kind of idiots, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they just sit around waiting for directions from Cruella. Remember, like they were just hanging out at the old Cruella DeVille place, just drinking and eating, watching TV with the puppies.
Canine crunchies.
Yeah. Also, I like how Horace and Jasper drive this big, like, old beat up kind of like moving truck or work truck or whatever, and Cruella DeVille's car is just this obnoxiously cartoonishly long
right
roadster thing,
like the car equivalent of a cigarette holder.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
So just obnoxious but also elegant at the same time.
Yeah. So fun.
Other support characters are just all the animals that have helped the Dalmatians reunite. There's Sergeant Tibbs, the cat.
Yeah, Tibbs is hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Captain, I believe he's the horse. The Colonel, another bumbling
sheepdog, right?
Sheepdog.
Or whatever he is.
Yep. He's like,
Yeah. Brr, brr.
and then when he whoofs, he's like, Aroo!
Yes.
And they translate, dog yips and barks and woofs. There's a collie. There's a black Labrador. We've got some cows. One iconically named Bessie. Yeah, I think that was very creative and a lot of fun. What's that called? The canine.
Twilight Bark.
The Twilight Bark. Yes, thank you. I thought that was a fun scene because you get to see all different breeds of dogs and the kind of owners associated with them. It's very creative. I like that a lot.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes in any Disney movie is the scene where I'm having a hard time remembering that. I don't know if it's the opening of the film or not, but where you've got, I think it's the beginning of the film, but anyway, you've got the humans that look like they're dogs.
Yes.
And it's just like, that's so true.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so, like, the way they're animated together. And one thing that I really loved about Cruella is they recreate that scene very briefly, but they do it with I can't really describe it, but it's the image we're all picturing in our head right now that they show during that scene with the woman and her dog with the long hair. And they recreate that in live action. And it's like just one of those scenes where it's like all that was animation. It wasn't, there was no acting, there was no script around it. It was just purely animation. It was so well done.
Yep.
I love that scene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same here. And very true to life, I feel like. A lot of
for sure.
owners look like their pets. And of course, we can't forget, Cruella, which we've, touched upon in various ways. But, she stuck out just from the beginning. I always thought it was kind of funny that she'd call everyone an imbecile, though I wasn't too impressed with the fact that my son, fools. She'd also call people fools. And because he saw in 100 Wild Dalmatians, like, 2 years ago as well. And what I learned was that at daycare, he was starting to call everyone fools at the daycare because
Which on the one hand is pretty fantastic, but also not so much.
yep. It was like on a documentation like form, like Nikolai was telling his friends that they were fools and to walk away.
That's funny though.
It really is.
I don't know. I feel hypocritical about this because I love the way that Cruella talks, and I love how she calls people fools and imbecile, and those are just words that you don't use in real life. Like I don't know that I would ever call someone a fool as an insult. Like that's not.
Oh, my wife and
something
I
I would
call each
use.
other fools all the time.
Oh well, maybe it's just me, but like imbecile is not a word I use. Right? It's just very a product of its time. I get really frustrated when movies do that because like it's for kids and like nobody wants their kids to call someone a fool or an imbecile, but like also I don't know, I really enjoy that about this character. But this is a tangent, but I just saw um, League of Super Pets,
Mm-hmm.
and that movie has like literal like one of the characters, she's a turtle. Have y'all seen that movie?
Not yet.
Okay, it's not great, but there's a turtle in the movie, voiced by Natasha Lyonne, and she like the character literally says like she says like where the f am I, but she says the whole thing and it just puts a beep in there, where the beep am I, but it lets in the where the beep am I, and then twice two other places in the movie she's like well that was bull beep, but it like has the little bit of the s, and it's like not trying to hide it, and like I just don't understand it when
Wow.
kids movies do that. Like that's not like there's just whatever. So, but anyway, this is me being hypocritical because I love the way Cruella talks in this movie, and I don't really have a problem with it because that's not really how people talk these days. So
I didn't
it's
know
just
that. Now I'm definitely not letting my son watch that, even though he has dropped the F-bomb once already, so never mind.
listen. The movie is not great as it is. It was actually pretty boring, and I really didn't like it at all. But that alone like made me not, and I'm not a prude, but I just don't want my kid like I don't know. I don't want my
Yeah,
kids
no,
talking like that.
they're gonna learn those words eventually. I'm not a prude either. You can listen to me on After Dark. I cuss like a pirate, but just I don't know. It's not necessary. You don't
Right.
need to do that.
Right.
Anyway, tangent over. But the best part about Cruella DeVille being iconic, because it was a comment or a question from the audience, what makes them stand out? Because if you look at like top Disney villains, I mean, Maleficent is probably there on top. Um, but I say, Cruella is up there as well because in a sense she is kind of more realistic, and even though her motive was just skinning puppies for fashion, which almost seems kind of ridiculous. Why would you just skin a bunch of cute baby puppies for spotted what? Like, what are you going to make with a bunch of spots? But I think that's just a reflection of, maybe I'm reaching here, like, just greed and selfishness, doing whatever you can with lack of empathy, clearly not valuing animal life, I guess.
Right.
Just basically someone who just does not give a crap about anyone or anything except for herself.
Yeah. I think she's iconic also because she has a very distinctive look to her, right? Very contrasting, like the white and black hair, the coat that's like that cream color with the black dress, the long cigarette. She's got kind of this
Tall
gross,
and angular.
yeah, gross looking purplish skin. She's
And her laugh.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, and the way she talks to Anita is very kind of, it's not like you look at someone like the evils, like the stepmother from Cinderella or Maleficent, right? They talk very like, even though they're loud, they're very elegant with their delivery, whereas Cruella is very just like, I'm the boss, get this, kind of like, it's I don't know what the right term. It's
Yeah,
not as elegant.
It's patronizing. She was Anita, darling.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So
I think what makes, as we talk about these like villains and stuff, what makes an iconic villain is I think style, and not style in the sense of stylish, but just like they've got like a complete ownership of, and kind of like just like knowing who they are, right? And just complete, just kind of, they have their own style and they have their own way of doing things. Like Cruella is very like kind of over the top, elegant and fashionable, but she's also like bare bone, like real skinny, like all skin and bones, and like there's like a little bit of a facade there, right? Like the style to cover up the what she like. She's kind of like fake money, right? But that like feeds into her character, right? This need for fur to kind of promote this lifestyle that she wants to have. And so I think when we look at these really iconic villains, is they've got a really unique sense of self and a really unique sense of style, and they are who they are, whether they're ordering groceries or murdering puppies. Like they are just who they are. And I think that's what makes them so compelling, is no matter how you press them and what situation you put them in, they're still the same character. And that's what makes them so, their characters last for so long, is they are really well defined. And I think that goes down to everything from direction to animation to vocal delivery to choice of her smoking the long cigarette. Like all of those things I think really play into that.
all right. Am I missing any characters that we wanted to talk about? I think we've kind of.
I mean, there's not really a lot of characters that have a lot of screen time in here, right? I mean, we talked about all the animal characters, and the human characters are just kind of like the 5 that we kind of see, right? Like 6, right. I guess. So I don't think we're missing anything. The car chase is hilarious.
Oh yeah, well let's get right to that. Favorite moments of the movie.
Eyes.
Yeah, her spinning eyes. Yeah. I mean, it starts with like the Dalmatians covering themselves in soot, right? And then they climb into the back of the truck,
which is such a great scene.
I love that. Yeah.
And then like when the water drips on them, and obviously I think Rolly gets covered in snow, and they have to pick him up and throw him in the truck or whatever. And then she notices, and I mean the chase scene is hilarious. Like first of all, Cruella doesn't know how to drive. Whoever let her drive is, you know.
What I love about the recent Cruella movie is at one point she steals that iconic DeVille car, and she's driving it around, and Horace and Jasper are in the car with her, and she's like hitting, like she's driving in an alleyway, she's hitting the sides of the whatever, and she's hitting all these cars, and they're like, do you know how to drive? And she's like, no, I never learned. And it's just like that one line was really like talking about what a horrible driver she really is. It just was interesting that they did that in the live action movie, because she is a really bad driver.
Yeah, she like breaks some fences, and she like misses the turn at one point, but still tries to make it anyway. It's and the spinning eyes, Mark, like you said, is just like this woman's crazy.
It's image found in a lot of memes for sure.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the scene where Sergeant Tibbs had to lead the puppies out of the house, just the entire thing. I think the chaos initially started when Jasper was reaching over for the bottle of wine or whatever the heck he was drinking, and he grabs Sergeant Tibbs' neck, and the cat goes, "Meow!" And he does later. He just like jumps out of nowhere, which cats can do. There's just leading the puppies everywhere, and Sergeant Tibbs is telling the colonel, like, I don't have any time, sir. Goodbye, sir. It was just overall like chaotic, fun. And then just when Pongo and Perdita saw that there was actually 101 puppies, not just their original 15.
Yeah.
And the kind of, when I say epic journey to get back, it wasn't,
It's like down the road and over some farmland.
Yeah.
For puppies, it was.
It's not like Homeward Bound where they travel across half the country.
Exactly. I love that movie.
What a great movie.
But I will say, though, speaking of which, I do think the movie overall was well paced. We got the beginning, how the puppies met, had babies, introduction of Cruella, pretty simple plot device. The kidnapping, the rescue. I don't know. I just feel like everything kept me engaged the entire time, and it was still it was 79 minutes. So yeah, still wasn't terribly long movie.
Yeah.
No, this is the last time we did Sleeping Beauty, and Sleeping Beauty isn't much longer than this movie, but Mark brought up that it just kind of felt like, man, how long has it been? Are we still watching this type thing? And even though there's great parts in that movie, it's not the pacing is not great. Whereas this movie, it was a quick 80 minutes in and out. Oh, okay. The beginning's a little bit slow, but a lot of these movies from this time are kind of slow at the beginning. But once Cruella kind of enters the picture, and Anita, when they meet each other, and then Pongo and Perdita kind of that's kind of when the movie starts picking up, and it never really stops until the end of the movie. So that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know why I couldn't think of his name. What is his name? The main guy, Pongo's pet owner guy. Roger. God. Why did I not? Oh, man. Anyway, sorry.
Oh, good. Anything you guys didn't particularly like about the movie? I don't know. Overall, I just thought 101 Dalmatians was extremely solid.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Oh, and I want to say one more thing I like. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, but it's not really pertaining to that, but the trailer or the advertisement for the live animated 101 Dalmatians, the way they market it is they start off with the animated puppies running down the stairs, and then it slowly shifts to real life puppies running down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
And that just made me happy. Just want to throw that in there.
Yeah. Every time I see Roger, I just think of Jeff Daniels, though, too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Jeff Daniels, by the way, in the live action movie is great, too. I think he's...
Yeah.
I mean, Jeff Daniels is great in everything he's in, but,
yeah.
I just see him.
He's a video game designer.
I know. I hate that part. I hate that part of the movie, but
anytime, I just think that what a '90s take, right?
I know.
Mm-hmm.
How can we update Roger? Oh, he makes computer video games.
Yeah.
So.
And the kid too, that's playing the game. It's just awful too. I mean, the actor isn't awful. I don't know who the actor is or whatever, but the kid the sounds and stuff, and him being real into it is just oh my gosh, make this scene stop, please. I do like how they in the video game they use the assets from the
animation from yeah, that was a nice touch.
Yeah,
they do that in Aladdin too. When the live action Aladdin, they're looking at the map of all the kingdoms. They have a graphic of the genie, and it's the blue genie from the.
Yeah.
I like those little touches. That
yeah.
Hey, we remember we did this animated film.
Right. Well, if we want to wrap this up with a pretty bow, we could take a look at the definitive, so definitive, but definitive ranking.
Let's rank this puppy.
Oh, I see what you did
there. It's about dogs.
So our current ranking is at the top: Cinderella, followed by Pinocchio. Sleeping Beauty rests, no pun intended, at 3. Bambi 4. Snow White 5. Peter Pan. Alice in Wonderland. Lady and the Tramp. And sad little Dumbo is still at the bottom. So.
I actually think I would rank this probably in the Pinocchio Sleeping Beauty range, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Probably, I mean, I would maybe even dare to put it above Cinderella.
For me, I would see it beneath Cinderella and above Pinocchio. I feel like Bambi and Sleeping Beauty have the beauty in the art, but maybe the story is, kind of surface level. Pinocchio is a classic, very iconic, but I think 101 Dalmatians just really ratchets it up a notch, and really deserves a place high up in the ranking. I just don't know if it can beat out Cinderella.
Yeah,
for me it would be Cinderella, 101 Dalmatians.
I'm good with that. Right between Cinderella and Pinocchio is great.
Perfect.
I think it belongs there. I think this list, a lot of this list, is going to start shifting down as we move through, especially like the movies with this in the 60s and 70s. Like, I mean, like we're coming up on movies like Robin Hood, Jungle Book, Sword in the Stone. Like, we're starting to come up on these great movies, and man, I'm really excited to get to Jungle Book and Robin Hood. Those are two of my absolute favorite movies. And
I hate to say it, like these are all great movies, but I envision this all shifting down, moving forward.
I would actually say Pinocchio down will probably be.
I was just going to say,
down.
I feel like the top two will stay near the top, but then we start to, and they'll really kind of get lower.
Yeah. So, villain, right? Cruella?
Yeah, we got to talk. I mean, well, we already talked about Cruella, but now we got to size her up compared to who we have already. My document crashed. I don't know if you have the villain ranking in front of you, Corey, but if you can stall.
I do. I have it. I have it pinned in the Discord. These chats or these rankings as well. So
Great.
Right now, our current ranking is the stepmother, evil stepmother from Cinderella, Maleficent, the evil queen from Snow White, Hunter/Man from Bambi, Captain Hook, Queen of Hearts, and Honest John.
Notice how everything Dumbo related is at the bottom.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dumbo.
Dumbo doesn't have a villain. Racism.
Yeah. Okay, so Cruella de Vil. She is iconic.
She's got to be top, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't think she compares to the stepmother. Like, she's just awful in so many ways, like just rotten to the core. And although Maleficent's not as quote unquote realistic, she's got to get props for being one of the most iconic villains of all time. So
I would slide her between Maleficent and the evil queen from Snow White. It's close, but I would put her above the evil queen.
I agree with that.
I'd be okay with that.
All right. Look at us, guys. Look at us.
I know.
It's teamwork.
Makes the dream work. Of course, we'll probably be duking it out more when we get to those other movies, but yeah.
We're not there yet. It's fine. It's good.
Well, as long as we agree that Hunchback of Notre Dame is the best Disney movie and Frollo is the best Disney villain.
Oh, yes, he is. That creepy old man.
Yeah, what a perv.
Yeah. All right. Well, as we wrap up, I just want to thank everybody for listening. After this, Corey did kind of hint at it. Our next few movies up ahead, The Sword and the Stone. I'm psyched for that.
I'm excited because I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
Merlin. Yep.
Yep.
The Jungle Book, and then even Aristocrats. Robin Hood's after that, but that's 4 movies out. So we got a good chunk. We're getting to a very fun era.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
So with that being said, let's shake things up. Mark, why don't you tell everyone where people can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Acceptin Pereira, and you can find me on Boss Rush, writing stuff about movies. I'm currently doing a watch through of all Marvel films, like non-MCU and MCU.
Bless your heart.
It's all canon now.
It's all canon. So right now, I'm rewatching Agent Carter because we just watched that for standard definition. But I'm about to come up on like the Hulk 70s TV show and all this crazy stuff. So you'll find me there, and yeah, I think that's it.
All right, Corey, where can people find you?
You can find me at I am Corey and HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on the Boss Rush podcast. You can find me on Nintendo Pal Blocks series of shows, I guess we'll say, including the main show and expansion pass and direct recap and all that stuff. And you can find me right here on Standard Definition on a plethora of series as well.
Corey's on a lot of things.
I am. We're trying to get through it all.
People can find me on the internets on Twitter and Instagram at @Klimov_author. My articles on bossrush.net, live Wednesday nights on the Boss Rush podcast, and a sprinkling of other podcasts from time to time, including After Dark. So again, this has been Standard Definition, the Disney edition. Thank you again, and have a great evening.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
everyone.
friends.